We're going live on both Instagram and Facebook. Hey, it's Coach Rebecca. Welcome back to the Good Clean Eats Kitchen. And of course, welcome to Test Kitchen Tuesday. You guys, I hope you had an amazing holiday weekend. Hopefully loaded with lots of friends and family and fun activities. And of course, I hope you all got the chance to get outside and do something fun. But of course, I wanted to come back live right away today to give you some new recipes. And of course, I mean, how can I go wrong? It's Tuesday. It's the Mondayest Tuesday ever, but it is Tuesday. So we're gonna whip up some of my favorite vegetable-based tacos. And it's actually a broccoli chickpea taco. I'm gonna actually substitute Brussels sprouts for broccoli, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then also, we're gonna whip together my favorite tangy slaw that goes right on top of those tacos. And of course, a yummy dairy-free cashew nacho cheese, you guys, that is also a hit every single time I make it and bring it anywhere. In fact, I made it for a Good Clean Eats client the other day. She had it at a party and I think it got thumbs up all the way around. So welcome you guys as you jump on. As always, please drop me a 1. Let me know you're watching me live. If you are watching on the replay, drop me a 2. So tell me, drop some comments and notes to me as you guys are watching. What did you do this weekend, you guys? I wanna know, I wanna hear. While we start to chop up our veggies, we're gonna actually get the base to the veggies, these veggie tacos done right away because they need to go into the oven. While they're roasting up in the oven, getting nice and crisp and delicious and soaking up all of the delicious toppings and seasonings, we're gonna make our cabbage slaw salad that goes on top of the tacos, or the way I like to eat it, I actually put the taco mixture right on top of the cabbage slaw, and I don't even use a tortilla. And then last but not least, we'll whip up that nacho cheese. So welcome you guys to Good Clean Eats Test Kitchen Tuesday. I already started to chop up my Brussels sprouts. Now, yes, the recipe index said that this was going to be broccoli chickpea tacos, but about 6 months to almost a year ago, I started to have a crazy reaction, negative reaction to broccoli, and I couldn't give up this taco mixture because it is absolutely my favorite. So I have just started to replace the broccoli with Brussels sprouts, but you guys, make it with broccoli if you can, and if broccoli is your jam, make it with broccoli because they are the best. You guys already saw probably in some of the comments that this is a recipe that every single time I make it for my Good Clean Eats clients, they rave about it and ask when it's gonna come back again. And every single time, everybody who's reached out to me for the recipe, they've made it at home, they also get rave reviews. So you're gonna need about 4 cups of broccoli, or Brussels sprouts in my case. You're gonna chop them up fairly finely. Now, I'm taking a standard Brussels sprout and I'm quartering it. You could half it. I like to have them nice and bite-sized pieces. So I'm just taking for my, just like you would with your broccoli, you guys, you're gonna cut off that little stem, clean it up, and then just chop it down. Now, with the broccoli, again, you want it to be bite-sized pieces, but you don't want it to be so small that you can't really get the texture of the broccoli. You want that texture, and trust me, as the broccoli cooks down, you guys, just like as the Brussels sprouts cook down, they're gonna get smaller anyhow, so you still wanna have a substantial texture or bite there from the broccoli and Brussels sprouts. So like I said, I'm doing 4 cups of Brussels sprouts, fresh Brussels sprouts, or you're gonna do 4 cups of broccoli, your choice. Now this is actually gonna make just 4 servings, but they are veggie loaded servings. So I might even be over that 4 right now. But again, I'm just taking them, cutting off the base stem, and then quartering them so that they're nice little bite-sized pieces. I've got a big bowl that I'm gonna take those Brussels sprouts, and or if you're doing broccoli, you can throw your broccoli into. And again, you'll get those little leaves. So our Brussels are in here, quartered, 4 cups, ready to go. So of course, what's a taco without peppers? I'm actually gonna take those peppers, and if you watch, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this done before, but you take it bottom side down, or top side down, boom, like this, and we're just gonna take and cut around it, if you can see what I'm doing here, with a nice little knife. And as I do that, I'm actually able to take that core right out, toss that bad boy in the trash, and now we've got our little pieces of pepper. Now I'm gonna dice these, you guys, so I do want them diced. Again, that way they're gonna mix right into that Brussels sprout combination or broccoli combination, and they're gonna be bite-sized so that you can put them right into your taco shell or taco salad, whichever you choose to do, and they will be the perfect size. Now, you're gonna want 2 medium-sized bell peppers. Today, I chose to use both a red pepper and an orange bell pepper. It'll add nice little sweetness, not too sweet as you know, but a nice little sweetness and freshness of that pepper. All right, so while we're chopping up our beautiful, colorful veggies to go into these broccoli chickpea tacos, we need to talk about the weekend. So it was a holiday weekend. I thought this was a really good topic because it's probably, again, one of the common questions and things that people come to me about. The first is, how do I avoid going overboard on the weekend or during holidays and activities and events? But then typically that conversation is followed up with the, oh my gosh, I went so overboard, and we go into kind of what I call the self-loathe or regret mode, where we're literally regretting all the choices that we made over the weekend. And here's the thing, my goal in working with my one-on-one clients, and also as you guys come back to the Good Clean Eats Kitchen, is to really try to teach you guys that there's really no such thing as good or bad food. It's really all about mindful choices and really trying to help yourself to be mindful of how you're eating and how much you're eating. Nothing is horrible for you as long as you do it in proper quantity, right? The problem is that we are so used to this diet game that we've all been on for so many years that actually the mindset that we have because of the diet world that we've been fed for so long is this constant, like basically binge and then binge restriction. So holiday weekend, we go gangbusters, we overdo it, we overconsume, we eat all the shit that we shouldn't be necessarily eating on a regular basis, or what we qualify because of diet world as bad food. And then we go into self-loathe mode on Monday, Tuesday, whatever that day is following. Now, this might actually even sound familiar, not during holidays, when you go out for a special event, something like that. We do the same exact thing. We go into this just regret mode of what we chose to eat, and then we punish ourselves, right? Who's with me? Have you ever done that? I know Mel's on right now, Christy's on right now. Hello, ladies. As you guys jump on, we just started talking as we're putting together our broccoli chickpea tacos. I am making them, of course, with Brussels sprouts instead of broccoli. But you guys, we're talking about this whole kind of binge and then restrict mode that the diet world has taught us for so long, where we go overboard, or as you ladies know, we go into what I call fuck it mode, meaning you've made a choice, it wasn't the greatest choice, it didn't support your goals, so since you made a choice that you didn't qualify as a good choice, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go all in, I'm gonna eat all the shit, and then fast forward, like what, a day, the next day, maybe 2 days after you've gone into that mode of just fuck it, we end up like going into the self-loathe mode. And as many people know, that also tends to be followed by jumping on the scale, because I mean, why not make it even worse? We already know we didn't eat the things that we probably should have been eating, or we ate too much of the stuff that we should have been eating. And then we go onto the scale thinking what? It's not like we're walking onto that scale the day after a holiday or the day after going out and indulging, right? And we're thinking we're gonna lose weight, right? We know what the scale is gonna say, but then we go into this punishment mode. You're right, I love it, Mel. You said I used to be the president of the Fuck It Club. Yes, you did, but you have learned, my friend, and you have come miles. Now again, this isn't to say that we're all perfect. By all means, I still have moments where I'm just like self-loathe or not thrilled with the choices that I made, but here's the key. It's not about being perfect with this, you guys. It's about finding things that you can do, and that's what we're gonna talk about today, to avoid this restrictive mindset after we've enjoyed something. Again, you just heard me. You're supposed to enjoy food. You're supposed to enjoy holidays. The goal is to try to start to find a balance of enjoying without overdoing it. And if you do happen to overdo it, it's about getting back on track as quickly as possible. All right, so we're gonna talk about 5 little tips here as we go. I already have our Brussels sprouts quartered and cut up. Again, if you're gonna do broccoli instead of Brussels sprouts, again, you just want bite-sized pieces. We've got a red pepper and an orange pepper. So 4 cups of broccoli or Brussels sprouts, 2 medium bell peppers, and a half of an onion. You choose if you want that red onion, white onion. I went with white today, primarily because I've got red peppers in there and we've got some purple cabbage in our slaw, and I just think color is beautiful. So we've got that combination in there. We need to get this in the oven, but before we do that, we have to season it up because otherwise it wouldn't be a taco, right? So this might sound a little weird, but here's the reality. I am actually gonna use 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now the soy sauce just gives a little bit of that saltiness, but it also, as I mix it up over our vegetable blend, it's also gonna give it something to adhere to. So I just took that soy sauce, the 2 tablespoons, and I'm just gonna start to mix that all together. And of course, now that we've got that going over our veggies, we can't forget we've got chickpeas. So you're gonna do 1 cup of chickpeas, guys. So I've got a nice can of organic garbanzo beans or chickpeas. Now, I drained them and rinsed them, but I still left a little bit of the juice that's in those garbanzo beans. You guys, it works for us vegans and people that are vegetarians and don't eat dairy or eggs. That liquid, that is called aquafaba. Aquafaba is the liquid that is in garbanzo beans and actually works as kind of something that adheres. So we actually use it as a replacement for egg a lot of times in baking. And again, it's a great little substitute. So I left just a teeny little bit of that in there. And now I've mixed that all together. So now we need to add seasonings, right? Here is the seasoning combination. Again, this recipe can be found on the Good Clean Eats website. Very, very easy. It's under broccoli chickpea tacos, you guys, and it's gonna tell you the combo that I use. Now, I usually use cumin, and you're really gonna use kind of an equal of each, right? You're gonna use about 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, another 1/2 teaspoon of coriander, and 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. So that's kind of the combo. I'm gonna make it easy for you guys as well, and I always want food hacks, any type of hack that I recommend. If making up all those seasonings and making a taco blend seasoning isn't for you, there's a couple of different options. As you guys know, I always say if you're gonna use a pre-put together seasoning, this is a Flavor God seasoning. And you guys, I love their Flavor God Taco Tuesday seasoning mix. It's basically everything I just read off for you, but it's already put into one container. And here's the most important part, you guys. I immediately, as I told you last week, go to the label and I immediately look to see, did they add sugar? In this case, they did not. I also look immediately for sodium levels, you guys. And that's the thing I love about Flavor God is it's extremely low sodium. Majority of their seasonings are vegan, so they don't have any additional additives that are in there. And I'm basically gonna use about 4 teaspoons. I'm gonna actually pop that into my little tablespoon container here and right here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it over. Now that's sprinkled over, we need to get it all over that combination. Now here's the deal. I'm gonna throw these in the oven. They may not be done by the time we're done with our 45 minutes together. I always promise you I wanna keep it to 45 minutes. But you're gonna put your oven on about 350. You could even possibly go 400. You don't want to broil these, but you wanna cook the shit out of them. I like them extremely, extremely well done. So I already have a pan set with some parchment paper on top. And I'm just gonna take and pour this out onto my baking sheet. You wanna get it spread out, okay? So again, all of our seasoning, all of our veggies, chickpeas, so we've got some protein in there. We've got all sorts of veggies because I'm a veggies most girl. And those are ready to go with that seasoning now into the oven. Again, you guys, you wanna cook these. It's gonna probably take you at 350 to 400 degrees, still about 40 minutes. So you want them to really be cooked down so that they've got that crispness and they're even a little bit brown. Honestly, you might be like, that looks burnt. I say burn, baby, burn, because they're even better. All right, let's get those in there. Top shelf, again, get that going. So we've got already recipe number 1. Like, how easy was that? And I'm telling you, you guys, you're gonna thank me when you make these at home. It's Taco Tuesday. Go to the store, pull this recipe up, print it out. It has all the macro details. You can adjust the number of servings that you want on our website. So if you only wanna make 4 servings versus 8, just use the little adjuster and it's gonna tell you exactly how much of each ingredient you need. You will not be disappointed if you make this recipe for dinner tonight. All right, let's jump in, you guys. We need to make the cabbage slaw. Now, another little baby food hack. You guys know I'm all about food hacks, time savings, convenience all day long as a busy mom. So I actually grabbed 2 small bags of cabbage slaw. This is a cabbage kale slaw mixture, you guys. It's got some white cabbage in there or green cabbage in there, purple cabbage in there. It also has a little bit of kale and it's just really finely chopped up. Makes my life easy. That all we have to do is make the dressing, which we know I prefer to make homemade. So I'm gonna share with you this delicious slaw dressing and it takes 2 seconds to make up. I'm gonna grab my little Vitamix mixer here. Again, you guys, you could just put this into a container and shake it up. In fact, you know what? Maybe I'll do that for you so that you can see that you can make these at home. You don't need a Vitamix. You can completely make your dressings at home from scratch and you don't need a crazy expensive blender to do it. Let me grab a little container. All right, so I have these little sealed containers. I don't know what brand this is. I think I found them at my general store, but if you can see, it has a nice little seal on the top. You guys, when I make dressings at home, I like little small containers like this because I'm only gonna keep that dressing for maybe 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator. And this is perfect. That way you can take it, pop the seal and shake it up. So let's make that little dressing up for us. So right now, you guys, we are gonna use some honey. If you're vegan, you can also use agave, you could use maple syrup. Agave is personally my go-to versus honey. You're gonna use a little bit of garlic salt, and you're also gonna use extra virgin olive oil and water. So it's pretty simple, you guys. You're gonna use 1 tablespoon, my water is on next to me, 1 tablespoon of water. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now you could do 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I just don't think it's necessary. Now with that 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, I'm also gonna use 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then we need our honey, which is also 1 tablespoon measured of honey. And that is in there. Pop that in there. All right, now, teaspoon, that's all you need, a teeny little bit. I'm just gonna dash it in there, you guys, of that garlic salt. And then if you really want to spice it up so that you've got it more Mexican or that feel for your tacos, you could also just put a dash or about a teaspoon or so of your Flavor God mixture or your taco seasoning mixture. I'm just gonna pop that top on. Now, because of the honey, I'm gonna have to shake the shit out of this, but that's okay. I can do it. We're gonna talk at the same time. So while I shake up our cabbage slaw mixture, which is gonna go into the cabbage combination that we've got ready to go for us, and of course, when everything is done, it's gonna go on top of these delicious tacos, let's talk about the shame game. So we already talked about this self-loathe mode after we go overboard when it comes to overdoing it during a holiday or a party. So my first tip is immediately, let's stop the shame game, you guys. Return to your normal routine as soon as you can. So what does that mean for you, okay? So it's kind of immediately what I kind of say, I'm gonna grab a spoon. When I say get back to your normal routine, it's get out of that shame mindset. So we instantly, it is what it is, own your shit, as I say to all of my clients, own your shit, own the choices, and move forward immediately. That's the goal. Yes, you didn't make the greatest choices. So what? Guess what? Move forward. Today is a new day. Get your ass back on track. And yes, I curse. That is just who it is, who I am. So if you don't like it, I probably would say move to the next channel. Because I'm serious, you guys. You need to own your shit. Yeah, we're gonna make choices sometimes that we don't love, but it's about moving past that as quickly as possible and getting back on track. So knowing that I'm walking into today, I maybe made some choices that didn't necessarily support my goals. They weren't bad or good, they just didn't support my goals. So today, be clear. I had a plan. I knew what I was gonna start my day with. I knew I was gonna immediately get back to my normal workout routine. I knew what I was gonna have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have a plan so that I can immediately not restrict what I'm eating. Be clear, we don't live in the binge restrict world here anymore. We're not restricting what I'm eating today. I'm getting back to my mindful choices. I'm getting back to having a plan. I'm getting back to immediately making sure I've got the things in the house at arm's reach that are gonna get me back towards my goals and help me succeed, okay? That's what we're talking about. So that's tip number one. Immediately own your shit, but get back on track. Just ditch the shame game. It's not about shaming yourself, it's about owning it and moving forward. So that's tip number one. All right, let's pour this over and we're gonna go over tip number two. Tip number two, by the way, is get rid of the leftovers. I get pushback on this from people all the time, you guys, so don't be yelling at me. I get it. Lots of us grew up in this world where we didn't want to throw food away, or we felt bad that if we took and threw food away or whatever, that meant that we were wasteful, right? You're not being wasteful. So my immediate tip for you is, if you're entertaining, when people leave, tell them to take stuff with them. Get it out of your house. You do not need the leftovers of the questionable choices, the things that you wouldn't normally eat on a day-to-day basis. You don't need them in your house screaming your name. So get rid of them, you guys. Avoid the ongoing snacking and get back to your normal balanced nutrition. So kind of step one and step two are kind of the same thing, you guys. Get back on track. Get rid of the stuff that's throwing you off track or tempting you to be off track, and get back to your normal balanced nutrition. All right, guys. Recipe two, done. Cabbage slaw, bag it or not, you choose. You got about 4 cups of cabbage here, chopped up, finely diced. Again, I have a cabbage, purple and green cabbage and kale mixture, chopped up finely, and then I added together that delicious slaw combination. In fact, it's so good, I have to take a bite of it while we... It's got that acidity from the apple cider vinegar. It's got that sweetness from the honey, you guys. You got a little bit of that savory from that garlic salt. I can't wait until those tacos are done. so I can eat a ginormous big bowl of this. It's so good. All right. Oh my gosh, we're like not even 30 minutes in, and we've already covered 2 delicious recipes that you're gonna wanna check out. So make sure, again, you've got this combination recipe, the broccoli chickpea tacos and the tangy slaw recipe, both on the Good Clean Eats website. And of course, you can always watch this video. Make sure to like it, share it, save it, so that you guys can reach back and look at it if you need any hints or tips when it comes to this. So again, we've got those broccoli chickpea tacos in the oven already with our taco combination seasoning on top of them, mixed together with a little bit of soy sauce for that salt, and then boom, they're in there. We've got our cabbage slaw that's gonna top them. What do we have left? We need to make my favorite. Hands down, you guys, when I became plant-based, I was really concerned that I was going to miss cheese. I do not miss cheese, and it's because of this dip and so many other combinations that I've learned to make from scratch at home, you guys, and they are delicious. This nacho cheese queso dip, you can use it just as a dip. I actually use it and dip veggies in it, you guys, little baby peppers. You can put it on crackers. You could literally do anything with it. It is so good. All right, so here is the combination, and then we're gonna talk about the next 3 tips about overcoming that regret mindset after you've maybe overindulged over the weekend. We already covered 1 and 2, which is ditch the shame game, own your shit and get back on track. And then 2, get rid of those leftovers and immediately jump back to your normal balanced nutrition, but have a plan. Have a plan. Know what you're gonna go into that following day after kind of overindulging. Know exactly what you're gonna eat. All right, so for this cashew, sorry, I have it in a little cup here. I actually had cashews. So 1 cup of cashews soaking in hot water. Now I have a Vitamix, so they don't typically have to soak for as long because this really does a great job of breaking it up. But if you have a standard blender or mixer, I really want to encourage to boil these cashews so that they get soaked down and really soft, or leave them in extremely hot water for maybe like 45 minutes before you make this dip, because again, it will make a huge difference when it comes to texture, okay? So I'm taking that 1 cup of cashews. They are now in my blender, okay? Now I'm gonna take, see, I'm telling you guys, it's so incredibly simple. So I'm using nutritional yeast. Now, we've talked about nutritional yeast before, but just as a reminder, if this is your first time joining me, vegans use nutritional yeast all the time in all sorts of different things, but essentially, I think the way I look at it is it kind of has like this Parmesan cheese kind of flavor to it maybe. It's got a little bit of that salty. It really adds that creaminess. It's also a source of protein for vegans. So again, this is a key ingredient when it comes to this delicious dip. Now, all you're gonna use is 2 tablespoons of that nutritional yeast. So I'm just gonna put 2 tablespoons in there. They're a little bit heaping, but so what? All right, so 2 tablespoons of that. Now, we're gonna make it easy. You could use just a can of diced tomatoes. A can of diced tomatoes, you just leave the liquid in, but I'm gonna make life even easier for you with this, and I'm gonna tell you to use just a pre-made salsa. Again, I always look immediately. There's no additional sugar that's been added to this. It's one of the reasons I love Jack's. And we're gonna use a 1/4 cup. Where did my measuring cup go? We're gonna use a 1/4 cup, which is ultimately 4 tablespoons. So we'll just use a tablespoon. So we're using a 1/4 cup of salsa, you guys. Now this is the nice thing too, is this already has a lot of seasoning in it. But again, the sodium level isn't too crazy bad on it. And then we only have like literally a couple of other ingredients. So just like our tacos, you're gonna use a dash of chili powder. Oops, that one's not open. A little dash, about a 1/2 to a 1/4 teaspoon of dark chili powder. We're gonna use the same amount of cumin. We need coriander, again, same thing, about a 1/4 teaspoon. Measure all you want, friends. Trust me, this combination of cumin, coriander, chili powder, and paprika is a winner. And again, I just make it so much that I tend to be able to eyeball it a little bit more. And then last but not least, we added in that paprika. And I actually have my blender right next to me today. So if you need to thin this out, I'm gonna quick do it right now. It's just the salsa, 1/4 cup of salsa, the nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons, 1 cup of cashews that have been soaking in water so that they're nice and soft. And then we have our combination for seasonings. We've got that cumin, paprika, coriander, and chili powder. It's gonna give you that nice nacho cheese dip combination. Mel says, I've made the dip you're making, got it from you, and it is off the hook. I'm telling you, friends, listen to the people that follow me and listen to me. I make and I try everything. I will never make a recipe or tell you to try a recipe if I have not made it myself. And if it's a thumbs down from my family or me, you're never gonna hear about it because I just won't share things that I don't love. So if I'm making it for you, especially on Good Clean Eats Test Kitchen Tuesday or Thursday, it is a winner that you are gonna want to make. So all those are in there right now. You can see that little combo right here next to me. It's gonna be a little loud for a second, but hey. Just like that, not even sure how long that was, it is made. Now, you can see here, it definitely stands up. This is, again, a nacho cheese. Now, if you want it thinner, where you could like pour it over chips or something like that, you're just gonna add a little bit of water. But this is, to me, the perfect texture. So I'm gonna quick pull it out here and put it into a little bowl so you guys can kind of get a feel for what this texture looks like. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you are making it with a standard blender and you don't have a Vitamix, you're gonna want to pre-soak those cashews and you're gonna have to really blend the shit out of it. So again, that is what it looks like. Okay, so it's a nice little texture. I put this also, guys, on, I use this, as my Good Clean Eats clients know, this is the cheese spread that I put on my black bean sweet potato quesadilla. Also can be found on the website, and it's a winner. It is a hit all the time. It's so good, you guys. Anything you want, where you want that taco kind of or nacho type flavoring, you guys want to use this. And again, if you want to thin it out a little bit, you can thin it out. This makes a really good size serving. It is, if you want measurements, if you're making with what I gave you for the ingredients today, with the 1 cup of cashews, etc., you're making about 10 servings of this cashew combination, okay? I'm gonna quickly for a second open the oven for 2 seconds and let's take a look and see how things are cooking up in there. And we haven't gotten to our last 3 things. So number 3, get in tune with your body. So get a workout in or just move your body, you guys. Anytime I've been off track with my nutrition for a day, a weekend, whatever the case may be, it's so incredibly important to me that I immediately get on track with a workout and that in the morning I start to move my body right away. I always feel better, number 1. And number 2, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I move my body first thing in the morning, it really sets the tone for the rest of the day for me. So when I wake up and work out, or even just wake up and go for a walk, you guys, I just feel different. And the choices I make when it comes to nutrition and getting back on track are so much better, because if I'm moving my body, I want to feel good, I'm feeling good, so I want to feed my body in a way that's going to make me feel good as well. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4, you guys, is, this is the big one. Should you get on the scale? Who knows my answer to this one? Not a chance. Again, we talked about it really early on with this whole torture that we put ourselves through when we maybe have made choices that we don't necessarily make on a regular basis. We go into the self-loathe and torture mode. Do not get on the scale, you guys. I tell my clients this all the time. Even if they're weighing once a week, if they have an anniversary and it's the day before their traditional weigh-in, if they go out to an event or a party and it's again the day after or the day before a weigh-in, I tell them no. When I come back from a week's vacation, we go on a cruise or we go somewhere, the last thing I'm doing, I am not getting on the scale. In fact, I don't get on the scale after a 1-week vacation for a full week. Why? 1, I already know I was making choices that I wouldn't normally make, so I don't need the scale to validate that for me. I already know that. But here's the cool thing. So 1 week, let's just say I go on vacation, I don't weigh for a full week after I return from vacation, but what I do is all the things we're talking about right now, I immediately get back on track. The day that I get back, boom, I'm moving my body the same way. I'm owning my shit, but I'm moving forward. I'm coming up with a plan. I'm getting back on track with my balanced nutrition. I am hydrating and drinking a shit ton of water. I'm doing all those things for moving forward, but for that full week. And here's the deal. Almost every single time, I can't promise you this one, but almost every single time, I'll get on the scale a week after I've gotten back on track from being on vacation, and I haven't gained a single pound. Now, if I would have weighed myself the minute I got home from vacation, I can probably guarantee you that I probably was up 5 pounds, right? You're not gonna gain it overnight, but you're also not gonna lose it overnight, guys. Get back on track, and you guys, you're not gonna see this crazy shift in that scale number and how you feel. So no, do not get on that scale, friends. Do not do it. Wait, okay? Even if it's it was 2 days of kind of going a little bit off the rails, so wait 2 days, get back on track, and then when you feel that you can jump on the scale and not let that scale set you into self-loathe mode, then get on the scale. Because one thing I've learned through time is that when we let the scale control our mindset, okay, and we go into, again, that letting the scale tell us, right, what we should feel, how we should feel. It's basically telling us we made a bad choice. Again, we already know. You know the choices that you're making, right? You do know the choices you're making. So don't let the scale control you. What I have learned in my experience when I ditched the scale completely for almost 5 years, you guys, is the fact that when I step on that scale, it's not gonna set me into restriction mode. Back in the day, I would have done exactly the opposite of every single thing that we're talking about right now. I would have immediately gotten on the scale. In fact, I probably would have gotten on the scale the minute I got home from the party to really beat myself up for the choices that I made. And then I would immediately go into restriction mode, and I would say, okay, well, tomorrow I'm not gonna eat at all, and I need to do a double workout. Any of this sound familiar? If this sounds familiar, you guys have to reach out to me. Stop living like that. It's no fun, and I promise you, learning these tools and techniques, you guys, my clients know it. It's what I preach because it's what I do. I've learned after years of doing what you are doing, after literally living the diet mindset and restricting and binging and this yo-yo that I was on with nutrition and food. You guys, I have learned some awesome tools that work, that get you out of this diet mindset. You can still lose weight. You can still lose weight, okay? But you can get out of this crazy yo-yo diet mindset where you feel like you need to restrict or you feel like you need to double workouts because you can't out-work out bad nutrition choices, you guys. You also, restriction only turns into another binge. All of those things are true, and you know that they're true, okay? So one last thing, we said 1, stop the shame game, own your shit, but immediately get back on track with your schedule. 2, get rid of the leftovers, get rid of all those temptations that are sitting in the house that you'd potentially just continue to go back and snack on. Get rid of that shit and have a plan. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. What are you gonna eat? What do you have available that's gonna help to keep you on track and get you back on track? 3 is get in tune with your body. Move right away in the morning, even if it's just going for a walk. Get that workout in to get your mind right and your body right and get those two things working together. 4 was ditch the scale. Whether you were on a 2-day kind of bender, then don't get on the scale for 2 days. Just get back on track. Use these other tips. And then in 2 days, when you're feeling comfortable and you say, you know what, I'm good, step on the scale, but don't let that scale control you. And then last but very much not least, you guys, tip number 5 is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drink loads of water, you guys. 1, because you probably were drinking cocktails and it's gonna really help to continue to flush your system. But you guys, again, it's gonna help to flush your system. It's gonna help with your digestive tract. You're probably dehydrated because you probably weren't drinking as much water when you were making those choices. Again, drinking alcohol also makes you dehydrated. You probably haven't been sleeping as well because, again, that's the cycle that happens when we don't eat things that we normally eat, when we're not drinking as much water as we normally would, or when we're drinking alcohol and we normally don't. All of those things impact how our body feels, how our digestive tract works, and you guys, how just our hormones are in balance and sleep, it all connects together. So those are my 5 tips for getting on track, back on track after maybe a not so perfect weekend and not going into the self-loathe mode. You guys, the Brussels sprout, broccoli, chickpea tacos are still in the oven. I told you it was gonna take probably 45 minutes for them to really crisp up. I promise I will take a picture. They're so good. We've got our cabbage slaw. If you guys need to see that combination, again, you can check out the recipes all on the Good Clean Eats website, or start back at the beginning of this video, catch all these 5 tips as well as the details on these yummy recipes. Cabbage slaw, my favorite. I could literally just eat this whole entire bowl. And guess what? I can, because I know exactly what's in it and it's all Good Clean Eats. And then last but not least, this beautiful nacho queso dip, you guys. It smells good, it tastes good, it's rich and creamy, and you will not miss dairy cheese, not one bit, you guys. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I told you, I always promise you, Test Kitchen Tuesdays and Thursdays, only 45 minutes long, and we're always gonna cover 2 to 3 recipes, and of course, have a topic to just chat about. I hope you guys come back and visit me. Mark your calendar, like me, follow me so that you get notifications when I go live, because we've got 3 more recipes coming at you on Thursday at noon here in the Good Clean Eats Test Kitchen. All right, guys, see you in the kitchen next time.